Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a 2022 Senate election prediction. I have not done one of these for about now over a month, so I've decided to come back and make another one of these predictions. Before I begin, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are getting very, very close to 550 subscribers, so if you've not subscribed already, please go ahead and consider subscribing. Now, right now is a very, very interesting time to be making a 2022 Senate election prediction after all of the crazy things that have happened over the last few weeks. The Senate is now seemingly poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. Elon Musk seems to have been able to acquire Twitter for $44 billion, which is going to have major implications for the public square and information dissemination. The federal judge knocked down the mask mandate on flights. New York's gerrymander map was overturned by its Supreme Court. Ron DeSantis has been going hard on Disney and other corporations in the state that oppose his policies. We have J.D. Vance, who was elected as the Trump endorsement in the state of Ohio. That's probably the biggest win for Trump in now a long time. So with all of that pending, that is all going to be considered in this election prediction. Popularity is going to be considered. The obvious reality that we are heading into a red wave election year is, of course, going to be considered. And so many other variables to talk about. And now that we have a much more clear consensus as to who will be the nominees in many races, such as in Ohio, it'll be J.D. Vance. Pennsylvania, that is still actually very contested between Oz, Barnett, and I guess McCormick. It looks like Ted Budd, however, will be the nominee in North Carolina. It looks like Herschel Walker will be the nominee in Georgia. It looks like Adam Laxalt will be the nominee in Nevada. And possibly Blake Masters could be the nominee in Arizona, Kelly Shabaka in Alaska. So we have a lot of interesting things going on. Of course, Missouri is still not sure. However, even with, I believe it was Schmidt, the Republicans still win by a pretty good margin. And Pennsylvania, of course, and I guess New Hampshire is still a little bit contested. But with all of that going in, let's get right into this Senate election prediction. At the moment, there are not many safe Democrat states. California, David Padilla's seat, if that's David Padilla or Alex Padilla, I'm not even sure what his name is. Hawaii will be a safe Democrat seat. I believe that the state of Maryland, of course, will be a safe Democrat state. That has been consistently safe. Vermont, of course, will be safe. Although it's very interesting, the state of Vermont has a strange, it is left-wing, but it also has kind of an interesting appeal. I think the Republicans, depending on who that they nominate, could actually narrow that state up significantly. I think people really lump Vermont in with a state like Maryland, but it's actually or Massachusetts for that matter, but it's very different in its demographics. And I actually still see New York as being a safe Democrat state, but states like Washington, Oregon, even Tammy Duckworth in Illinois, I think could get into that likely category. Washington with Patty Murray, we saw that poll her up only 9 points. So it does look like things definitely could be the Democrats could be vulnerable in previously considered safe seats. I think that North Dakota, both of these Oklahoma races will be safe. It's going to be very interesting to see how the primaries go. However, we know that James Langford may have some competition in his primary, and of course the other person I'm lapsing on their name at the moment. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this Oklahoma primary goes. And I'm also going to lump Missouri in as a safe Republican state. With Tim Ryan, he could possibly narrow Ohio as into a likely seat. As I say, safe is above 15 points in the victory margin. With Tim Ryan being the nominee for the Democrats, I'll leave that up for the next category. But I still think the Republicans will probably win. Washington, Oregon, Illinois, Connecticut. Excuse me, not Illinois. Illinois, I always mess that up. Illinois will be likely Democrat as well as Connecticut. And then those will be the only likely Democrat races. So that brings them up to 45. Likely Republican races. That'll be Ohio. That will be Florida. I think that Ted Budd will win North Carolina by a likely margin. When you look at his polls, he's doing very well in the general and, of course, in the primaries. So I do believe he would be able to win there by a likely margin. And, of course, the state of Alaska. We'll see what happens with Lisa Murkowski. Of course, I don't believe she will win the Republican nomination, but depending on if she decides to run as a Republican, not as the nominee, it'll be interesting to see what happens with her in Alaska. I'm still going to leave that as a likely state. We have yet to see how polls would happen, and of course the primary hasn't happened yet, so we don't know how the general will be shaped, but I'll put that as a likely Republican. I still think it will end up in Republican hands at the end of the election. Anyway, let's get into our lean Democrat races. I'm going to leave... I'm actually gonna say there are no lean Democrat races at the moment. I was gonna put Colorado there, but with the trends in the country at the moment, obviously Colorado is trending left. I do think you could see a bounce back. I mean, you saw things happen in Virginia in 2021. If there's even more momentum, of course, heading into the midterms, I do believe that that could happen. And I'm going to put Colorado in the tilty column, but first I'm going to go over the lean Republicans. I think that Herschel Walker will win his state in Georgia. He's been doing very well in the polls against Raphael Warnock. Ron Johnson will lean the state of Wisconsin in his favor. He's pretty popular in Wisconsin. Blake Masters, I'm assuming he's the nominee. He'll be able to win in Arizona, as well as Adam Laxalt in Nevada. He will be able to win his election by a lean margin. As I said, I think that Colorado will tilt Democrat, and I think that whoever the nominee in Pennsylvania is, most likely will be able to tilt that. And at the moment, I'm going to give the state of New Hampshire as tilt Republican as well. Maggie Hassan and her recent pollings have shown that she is also vulnerable. Depending on who that Republican nominee is, you could see an effect there. So that leaves my 2022 Senate election prediction at the moment as 54-46. I think that Republicans are in probably the strongest position they have been in an incredibly long time. The Democrats, in contrast, are the most vulnerable they have been in really decades. Probably the most vulnerable they have been at least since the midterm elections with Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich when he took the House of Representatives. So 54-46, that is my 2022 Senate election prediction as of today. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the election prediction and what you would change, what you would keep the same. Like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share it with your friends. I'm also, trying to mention I would love to get an interview with a few people. Ted Budd, I would also. So if you have any connections with Ted Budd in the comments, let me know, and I would definitely love to get some interviews with some of these candidates. I think that that's also really interesting content, and I'd love to put that out so people like Ted Budd, people, especially the Republicans, because those are the interesting primaries at the moment. But Ted Budd, even possibly, Tim Ryan, all of those people, that would definitely be interesting to have. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have any connections with those people, let me know below, and I'd love to contact you. Stay tuned for more videos, and have a great day.